I do think that the 2850 goal next season will be a good goal for a lot of middle ground players because it will be much more achievable with the 12 deplete change. I think I had listened to your podcast when you guys were talking about how it doesn't affect a lot of people, but it will because I will invite way more people to my 12s. Personally, I go on my I'm on a new alt. He's a little undergeared, but I'm already doing 12s. Okay. I'm not taking the underqualified person because then my key's an 11.
Yeah.
It sucks, and I hate to say it, but if that marksman hunter with kind of low item level, who's never timed a 12 before, applies to my 12, I'll wait. But next season, I would love to give that hunter a shot. Yeah. Because if it depletes, worst case scenario, I still have a 12. The problem is that when I started playing alts, I play a lot of alts, my 12 would go to an 11. And then my 11 would go to a 10. And then my 10 would go to a 9. And I logged off that tune and didn't play until next week. So I do think that the 12 change is actually a really, it's not the end all be all. It's not a magic fix or anything like that, but I do think it will help the game of just hitting, like it gives a very clear goal, gives a clear checkpoint. I think that goal is pretty achievable if you do want to learn the game, but I really also want the game to be friendly to people who just come home from work and they just want to, I'll share a story about that later if you guys got a minute.
Oh, we have a lot of time, but
you want to hear the story?
Let me just ask you this. Now that you put it in this perspective, like my 12s are not depleting, so I'm gonna invite everyone and they can learn and we can progress together. That sounds so good, but do you think that's really actually going to happen? Do you think people be like, oh, I can like, I'm not sacrificing my key now, it doesn't deplete, so I can get whoever I want in my 12?
There are actually a lot of friendly WoW players because WoW is not League of Legends. WoW is not that type of game. Mm-hmm. I think that the average WoW player is actually a relatively nice person. There are obviously people who are a bit more negative, a bit more competitive, a bit more toxic in whatever capacity. That's okay. Every game has that. But if you talk to 100 people in WoW, I'm willing to bet that you make some friends. Like there's a lot of people play WoW as still sort of community game. It's gonna lose that though if it doesn't change. It has to do some things, like you gotta make things a little bit more friendly because it's moving toward a much more competitive angle, and I don't think that's healthy for the game. When WoW Classic came out, that game is not better gameplay. But it's magical, isn't it? Did you play? Did you play when Classic came back out and Hardcore came back out? The gameplay is the gameplay isn't it, but the fact that somebody would take an hour out of their day to explain this quest and just be like, "Oh, I don't need this, but I'll just come help you." Yeah. That community element, it was just like, "Wow, you would? Do I need to pay you gold or like what do you want for this?" They're like, "No, I'm just helping." What? Really? Like it's almost like, WoW used to be a game just like that. People would spend their whole day just helping other people because it was a community. And I hope that WoW can go back toward that.